Hello, I'm Tom, and in this video I will solve the puzzles in the top right section of the game RYB. The first puzzle is again a tutorial section. We have three red tiles, so let's mark all three tiles red. And here we need 4 yellow tiles, like this. So we can somehow assume that these clues here indicate a group of connected tiles of the same color, right? So that would mean that we need 3 blue tiles here and 2 yellow tiles here. Let's see if that works. Let's see first if we can do it in any other way. Look, it doesn't work. We can't have blue here. So we need 3 blue connected tiles here and 2 yellow connected tiles here. And here we have 3 red tiles and 2 blue tiles. Now if we were to put the blue tiles in here, we would have the red tiles here forming a group of 3, so that can't work. That means that the red tiles need to be here, like this. Then we need a blue tile to separate the group, like this. And since we only have red and blue left, this one has to be blue to complete the group of 2 blue tiles. And then another red tile. Okay, so that's the mechanic for this set of puzzles with these group clues here. And this puzzle can be solved by looking at these brackets. The thing to notice is that each of these brackets is connected to all these small tiles. Here, like this bracket, is connected to this tile, this tile, this tile, this tile, and this tile. So the only like the brackets are only not connected to the other bracket, okay? And each of these brackets needs a group of 3 connected tiles of the same color. Yeah. So if this bracket would be red, we would have 3 remaining red tiles. Since this bracket is connected to all of these small tiles here, we would need at least 1 more red tile in the other bracket, yeah, because 2 tiles would go into these little tiles here, forming a group of 2. But then again, we would have the last remaining piece here in this bracket, and we would have a group of 4. So again, if one bracket would be red, the other one would have to be red because this is the only tile that is not connected to, this bracket is the only one tile that is not connected to this one, and we need to unconnect the 4th red tile from this red tile here, for instance, yeah. Like these 2 would have to be red, but these 2 would automatically be connected by another red tile. So the brackets themselves cannot be red, because we would automatically get a group of 4 red tiles. And that means the bracket parts have to be blue. Now from these 2 clues, we know that this part has to be red, and this part has to be red, here and here. And here's the remaining clue to finish this puzzle that we need. This is a single group of red tiles, yeah. There's only 1 tile. This one cannot be red, because then we would get a group of 2 red tiles. So this one has to be blue. And that was the last blue piece that we had, so the remaining 2 red pieces have to go here and here. The next puzzle. It's also a nice one, and it's basically solved by looking at these inside clues here. First of all, we know that this has to be this tile has to have a color that is not here, here, or here, or here. Yeah, because it has to be it has to have a single, it has to be a group of 1 single tile, basically, yeah. So first of all, it cannot be yellow, because we would have a group of 2 yellow tiles. And it also cannot be red, because we need a red tile here, here, or here. And if this was red, we would automatically also have a group of 2 red tiles. So this tile has to be blue. Now, from this group clue here, we know that these 3 tiles cannot be blue, right? And if we look at this clue now, we have 3 neighbors, 1, 2, 3. One blue neighbor is already here, so these 2 neighbors have to be yellow or red, meaning they can also not be blue. Yeah, so these tiles can't be blue, and these tiles also cannot be blue. So the only 2 tiles that can be blue are these 2, and we have exactly 2 blue tiles on the field. So this here, these 2 tiles have to be blue. Now we can look at this clue here. We need 2 yellow neighbors, and we have exactly 2 yellow tiles left for this puzzle. So these 2 yellow tiles have to be here or here or here, and 2 of these 3 tiles here. Yeah. But we also need another yellow tile as a neighbor to this tile here. So either here or here. So the only joint neighbor to this clue tile and this clue tile is this one. So this one has to be yellow. And here we also need a yellow neighbor. It can be here, here, or here. But since we need one more neighbor, one more yellow here also, it can only be this tile. That's the only joint neighbor for these 2 tiles. So this is yellow. And then we have 3 yellow red tiles left for these 3 remaining tiles. And we can complete the puzzle like this. So the next puzzle is going more into depth with the group clues here. Here we need a group of 2 same colored tiles, and also here a group of 2 same colored tiles. Now we know from this clue, yellow and blue, that these tiles have to be yellow and blue. And these tiles have to be yellow and red, right? So the only way to form a group of 2s is to make these 2 tiles yellow. Because if this tile was blue, we would need another blue tile here or here to form this group of 2 same colored tiles, yeah? 2 blue tiles, yeah? If this one was blue, we would need a blue tile here or here, but we can only have a yellow or a red tile here or here. So we can't have blue in here. This one has to be yellow. And for the same reason, like basically here has to be another yellow tile, because if we put the red tile in here, we would need a group of 2 red tiles. We would need another red tile here, but we can only have blue or yellow here, right? So this one has to be yellow too, and thereby these 2 tiles form like 2 times a group of 2 same colored squares yellow. So now we know that this tile has to be blue because of this clue here, and this tile has to be red because of this clue here. And now we can look more into this clue here. We know that this clue has to be a color, or it has to be a tile of one color that can't touch a tile of the same color. So it can't be blue, because then we would have a group of 2 here already. Yeah? This can't be blue. And this tile also cannot be yellow, because we will have a yellow neighbor here or here. And then again we would have a group of 2 yellow colors. So this can't be blue and it can't be yellow. It has to be red. Now furthermore, let's look how this group of 3 blue tiles can be extended. It could go here, and it couldn't go here because it would cut off the way for this group of 3 red tiles, because this group of 3 red tiles cannot move into this area here. This has to be a single colored group here, either in yellow or in blue. Can't be red, because it would form a group of 2 or even 3 tiles, right? So this group of 3 connected 3 tiles can move here, but it can't move there because it would be red here also, and would form a group of 4 connected red tiles already. So this group can move here potentially, but it can't move there. Yeah? And even if it moves here, it still has to move into this direction, right? So the group has to extend here, and this means that this group of 3 connected blue squares tiles has to move into this direction at least, because even if this one was blue, this tile would still have to be blue. Okay, like this. So now we can look at this clue again. We need a yellow neighbor to this tile here. It can only be here, and it's there. So the group of 3 connected blue tiles has to be completed like this, and the group of 3 connected red tiles can only be completed by moving into this direction here. And we have a yellow tile left that has to be here. Moving on to the next puzzle. Oh yeah, that's also a nice one. Let's start by looking at this clue. We need 2 blue and 1 red tiles here in these 3 neighbors. Now the 2 blue tiles cannot be here, because then this would be a group of 2 connected blue tiles already, and that means one of these 3 blue tiles first of all has to be here. Now looking at the remaining 2 tiles, we can say that the red tile cannot be here, because that would mean that this one is a blue tile. So blue, red, blue. But then these 2 remaining blue tiles would have to go here and here, because this one is red. And if we did that, we would have a group of 4 connected blue tiles. Here blue, here blue, here blue, and here blue. But this can also only be a group of 1 connected tile. And that means this piece cannot be red, it has to be blue. And in turn, this piece has to be red because of this clue. Okay. Now if we look at this clue, we have 1 blue tile already. We need another one here or here. The main thing to note is that either way we put this blue tile, this group of 3 connected 3 connected tiles is completed. Yeah? And that means that this tile and this tile cannot be blue. Okay? Looking at this tile, this one cannot be blue. And looking at this tile, it can also not be red, because then we would have a group of 2 connected red tiles. So this tile has to be yellow. And now we see that for the remaining 3 tiles, the remaining 3 neighbors of this tile, we need 2 yellow tiles and 1 blue tile, because 1 blue neighbor we have here already. So these 3 have to be 2 blue tiles and 1 blue tile and 2 yellow tiles. And as we noted before, this one cannot be blue, because it would automatically create a group of 4 blue tiles here, right? With this one. We have this group of 3 connected blue squares is already completed with the remaining blue square that we need for as a neighbor for this tile here. So this tile can't be blue, it also has to be yellow. And here we get a clue that we need 5 connected yellow squares. We have 2 connected squares already, and we have 3 squares left, so all yellow squares have to be connected to this group here somehow. And that in turn means that this tile cannot be yellow. And we know from this tile that this tile can also not be red, because again we would have a group of 2 connected red tiles. So if this can't be red and it can't be yellow, it has to be blue. So this finishes this group. And now we can look at this tile here, and we can say that this one cannot be blue, and we can say that it can also not be red, because if we look at these 2 clues, we know that these 2 have to be separate clues, like separate tiles of or groups of separate colors. Let's put it like this. Yeah. These 2 tiles cannot contain yellow, because all yellow tiles are part of the group of 5 connected squares. So these tiles have to be red and blue. They can't be blue and blue, because they would be that would form a group of 2 connected blue squares. So red and blue has to be here, but we only have 1 red square left, 1 red tile left on this board. So this tile here cannot be blue, according to this clue here. The group of 3 connected blue squares is completed already. It can't be blue and it can't be red, because we need red here or here. So this needs to be yellow. Okay. So now we can move along here. We need, let's say, 1 blue and 1 yellow tile here. Yeah, one blue and one yellow tile here. So this one has to be red. Actually, this was unnecessary to do this deduction here. I could have gone directly with this deduction because this one would have been yellow and blue, right? Yeah, this was unnecessary, this step here. Anyway, doesn't matter. As I said, we have one blue neighbor here already, one yellow neighbor already. So these two tiles have to be blue and yellow. So this has to be red, which in turn means that this one has to be blue. And since this one has to be a separate group of one blue tile, the remaining blue tile has to go here, and the remaining, like now, actually the remaining 3 yellow tiles would have had to go here. Yeah, this would have been easier to solve it like this, but that doesn't matter now. Let's move on to the next puzzle. Yes, we need a group of 5 connected tiles here, and we only, like, the only color with 5 possible pieces is blue, so we can already say that this has to be a group of 5 connected blue tiles. And we can also say that none of these group tiles is blue, right? So we can say that these 2 tiles cannot be part of the blue group. So this can't be blue. These 2 tiles can't be part of the blue group, and potentially one here or here. These 2 tiles can't be part of the blue group, and this tile cannot be part of the blue group. So the remaining tiles that we have for this group are these 2 tiles, and these tiles here. Yeah. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 tiles. 1 tile we already have. We know that here only 1 is blocked by this group. So we know for sure that we need these 3 tiles. So let me count again. For the group of 5 tiles we have 1, 2, 3, 4, plus 1 here. Okay, so these need to be blue. And now we see we need a blue neighbor to this tile that can only be here. So this needs to be a group of 2 red tiles. Now for this group of 3 red tiles, we can only use yellow colors because red ones, there are only 2 left. And we only have 1 blue left. Yeah, that is yellow, spanning from here to there. Which means in turn that for this group of 2, we can only use red. Like this. Which means that this tile has to be a yellow tile, and the remaining yellow tile obviously has to go here now, and the blue tile has to go here. Okay, we're closing in on the finish line. Oh yeah, this one was very difficult for me to solve the first time, but there actually is a very easy approach, and I'm pretty sure that that's also the intended solution, sort of, for this puzzle. And it's by looking at this clue. Or let's start with this one. This group of 3 connected squares. How can this extend to, like, how can it extend to 2 more tiles that have the same color? Look, it can move up here, obviously, right? So whichever, like, if these 2 had the same color, yeah, these 2 tiles, according to this clue, would need to have a different color. If this was yellow, we would need red and blue here. If this was blue, we would need red and yellow here. And if it was yellow, we would need blue and red here. Okay? So this group of 3 connected squares can, if it extends up here by 1, it will also have to expand into another direction. But it can't extend here, because here we again have a different color than this color. So it can only extend into this tile here. And that means that these 2 groups of 3 connected squares are one and the same group, actually. And we can then deduce the same for this tile here. Even if it moves up here, these 2 tiles will definitely have a different color than this tile, which means that this group of 3 connected squares has to extend into this tile here. And that in turn means that all these 3 tiles are of one and the same color, thereby forming one group of 3 connected squares. Okay? So now we can see from this clue down here that this group cannot be red, because if it was red, we would have another red neighbor here or here, according to this clue, right? We have 3 neighbors to this. If this was red, this would also have to be red, or this one, thereby forming a group of 4 connected red squares. So we know that this tile has to be blue, and the group has to be blue altogether. So now, looking at this clue, we know that these two neighbors have to be red. And looking at these clues, we know that each of these tiles needs a red neighbor. We only have one neighbor left, so we need a joint neighbor to these two tiles, and that's this tile. Yeah, it's only this tile. So now we only have 3 yellow neighbors left, and they are up here. And that's it for this puzzle. So let's go to this puzzle, which is very difficult, I think. I found a solution. I don't know if it's the simplest solution, but it's the simplest that I found. I also found more difficult solutions than the one I'm going to show now, but anyway, let's start. We have a group of 2 connected pieces, a group of 4, and a group of 3 connected pieces. Now the group of 4 connected pieces can only be blue because yellow and red are only 3 pieces. So we know that this has to be blue. Furthermore, we can move along by looking at this piece here. Can this piece have the same color as this piece? Meaning, can this form a group of 2 same colored pieces? Now it obviously cannot be yellow, but it can be cannot be blue, but it could be yellow or red. Now, regardless which color this was, that would mean that on this side we would have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 pieces left to form a group of 4 connected blue squares and a group of 3 connected squares here. Yeah? And that would mean that we would have, like if this was blue and this was yellow, like this group of 3 connected squares was yellow, this would have to be red, and we would need the last red piece also here forming a group of 3 connected squares, which we can't do. If this was red, then we would need another yellow piece here, and this would also be yellow, so again it would be a group of 3 connected pieces. So this piece can't have the same color as this group, right? So the next question is, can this piece have the same color as this piece? And this would only be possible if these 3 pieces have the same color here, right? If this was the case, we would, on this side of the puzzle, we would have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pieces left to form a group of 2 connected pieces and a group of 4 connected pieces. Now the 2 connected pieces would have to be here, because if it was here, I couldn't form a group of 4 connected blue pieces anymore, right? So the 2 pieces would have to be here, and the 4 blue pieces would have to be here, but that is not possible because we need a yellow piece here, right? So that in turn means that this piece can't have the same color as this group. And since this group is either red or yellow, and this group is either red or yellow, it means this piece can't be red or yellow, and it has to be blue, like this. Now, moving on, we can look at the potential colors of this piece up here. We know that this piece cannot have the same color as this group because this group can span to here maximum, right? So can this group span all the way up there? Potentially yes, 1, 2, 3 pieces. But if it was red, we wouldn't have a red tile left here or here to comply with this clue, because we only have 3 red tiles. And if it was yellow, it's the same. We wouldn't have a yellow tile left to have a yellow neighbor here to this tile, right? So that means this piece can't be yellow, and it also can't be red. It also has to be blue. So now the next and almost final step is, or the final complex step, is to look at this tile. Because we know now we need 1 yellow tile here and 1 blue tile. Like these are yellow and blue. Can this one be the yellow tile? That's the question. If this was the case, we would only have 2 yellow tiles left, which means the group of 3 connected squares could only be red. Yeah? So it could be here, right? They would have to be here because this tile would have to be blue. So we would have yellow, blue, and red. But then again, the remaining yellow tiles would have to be here, thereby forming a group of 3 connected yellow tiles. So that means we can't have the yellow tile here. This tile also has to be blue, and this completes the group of 4 connected blue squares. This one has to be yellow now, And we need another yellow neighbor here, right? So now we know that this group of 3 connected squares is yellow. And for the group of 2 connected squares, we only have red left. So we can put red and red here. And now, according to this clue, this piece has to be yellow. And this piece needs to be red. Okay. I would really be interested to see if there's an easier solution to this puzzle. Because, for instance, I think this puzzle is much easier to solve. Okay, let's jump right into it. Looking at this clue, we see that this tile has to be red or yellow, and this tile has to be the opposite, red or yellow, right? So if this tile was, for instance, red, we would have a group of 3 red connected squares. This group could span into this direction until here, but it couldn't go there, because here we would have a yellow tile, right? If this tile is red, this one is yellow, so the group of 3 connected squares would have to extend into this tile, right? This tile has a different color than this tile, so this group of 3 connected squares has to move into this direction. It has to, like these 2 tiles are part of the group of 3 connected squares. And the basic same conclusions go here, go for this tile. This group of 3 connected squares is either red or yellow, and it can only span or extend into this direction until here. It can't go there, because there, if this one is red, this would be yellow, and if this one is yellow, this would be red. So this group of 3 connected squares also has to extend into this direction here, into this tile. And so we know that these 3 tiles are one and the same group of 3 connected squares. Yeah? We don't yet know whether it's red or yellow, but since we know these 3 are connected, we know that this one has to have a different color, and this group of 3 connected squares has to expand from here to there. These 3 tiles are this connected group of 3 connected squares, and since this or this tile has to be red, we know that all 3 tiles have to be red here. And from this we can see now that this one cannot be red, this group has to be yellow, right? 1, 2, 3. And then again we know from these 2 clues that these tiles have to be red, and now we only have blue and yellow left. Here we can't have yellow in these tiles, because then we would have a group of 4 connected yellow tiles. So these tiles have to be blue, and the remaining yellow tile has to go into the triangular frame. Okay, that was that. Thanks again for watching. I'm curious if you have any comments, and I hope you enjoyed watching this. In my next video I will solve the puzzles in the bottom right section of the RYB game. Until then, bye.